this may be the biggest shift in publishing we've seen in the last couple of years. A $1.5 billion settlement with Anthropic and authors has just changed the AI landscape. And it directly affects you as the author in the future of book publishing, and it will continue to impact how we think about things moving forward in relationship to AI, copyright, and what content can be used to develop and train these bots. In this episode, I'm going to break down what happened with Anthropic, the creators of Claude AI, and what it means for you if you've published a book, whether that's through traditional publishing, hybrid publishing, or self-publishing. And later in the episode, I'll share the steps that you can take right now to help protect your work, as well as understand what terms and conditions you have if you've traditionally published. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. So let's start with the Anthropic news. Anthropic has agreed to pay $1.5 billion plus interest to settle a class action lawsuit brought to them by authors, which has been led by several organizations and industry advocates, including the Authors Guild. Why did this all happen? Well, it's because Anthropic was using books to train their AI that had been pirated. These weren't licensed, they weren't purchased, they were scraped from shadow library websites. This case is considered to be one of the largest copyright recoveries in US history, which is incredible. It's massive if you really think about it. And it's sending not only money back to the authors, but it's sending a clear message. Pirated content is not fair game for training AI. So you can think of it like a battle between good and evil. On one side, you have authors protecting their hard-earned intellectual property that they put the time and effort in to create. And then on the other hand, there's massive tech companies treating those works as free fuel for their algorithms. Now, I don't assume any ill intent behind many of these tech companies that are using this new helpful technology, but we need these checks and balances to help navigate and protect authors and also to keep technology moving forward that can benefit all of us. So now, what does that mean for you? Well, it depends on your rights. If you traditionally published and sold your book to a publishing house, they most likely will hold the copyright, which means they'll be the ones that are getting the payout for each book that's been infringed upon. And then it comes down to whatever deal that you have in your contract. If your book has been out for more than 2 or 3 years, you most likely don't have any AI clauses in your contract. So you're going to want to check in with your agent and your publishing contacts to find out how this is all going to be distributed and paid out to them and the authors. And much of it might still be unclear at this point, but the first thing is to start reaching out. So if your rights have reverted back to you from a publisher and your book shows up in the database, you could still have a direct claim. And that also applies to if you hybrid, most likely, or self-published your book. So right now we know that about 465,000 titles are on the draft list that are put in this class action lawsuit. That number may climb closer to 500,000 before it's finalized by October 10th, but here's something to keep in mind. This settlement only covers the past use of pirated books up until August 2025. It doesn't cover future infringements, and it doesn't cover AI-generated outputs. So if you think about it in many ways, this is really just the beginning of understanding how books and content are being used to train AI. And that brings us to 3 big conflicts that authors are really facing in regards to this right now. The first is authors versus AI companies. You're protecting your ownership. Authors versus publishers. So really getting clear and clarifying what rights they control with the content and where does that extend to now that AI has come in. And then the third, authors versus yourselves. This comes down to staying informed and keeping up with everything that's going on in this space without getting completely overwhelmed by all of this. So what can you do moving forward? Well, here's a few things. First and foremost, if you haven't already, register your copyright. This has most likely been done if you've traditionally published, but if you're a self-published author and you have not done this, it's worth the time. It strengthens your legal protections and your ability to claim damages if your work is misused. But be sure to check in with your lawyer, your counsel, to make sure to know what protections you do and don't have. Second is review your rights. Talk to your publisher or your agent and make sure you're crystal clear on who owns what. If you're publishing through a hybrid publishing service, read your contract carefully, confirm that you own the rights, or if they own part of it. Most likely, most hybrid publishers don't keep or retain the rights, and look for any AI-related clauses. If not, contact them and figure out what does that mean moving forward. Third, keep an eye on the October database release. See if your book shows up and make sure that you understand how you are going to be compensated if your book was used. And then finally, stay engaged. Groups like the Authors Guild and other advocacy organizations are doing the heavy lifting to keep authors informed and protected. And there's many authors in the industry who do have the success, the deeper pockets that are helping to champion this moving forward. It's great to have so many authors on board and helping to support each other. If you're still a little confused and not sure what to do, please reach out to Juxtabook through our website, set up a free consultation, or send us a direct message to help us understand what your situation is and we can give you some guidance. So now, zooming out for just a sec, this is just the first of many legal battles. There, you may have heard of some from Meta, other organizations out there who have partnered with publishers, or those who have been accused of using pirated books or just scraping the information that's out there. Some have been dismissed, some still are in process. And we'll see what continues to happen as kind of everything's been shaken up and it feels like a chaotic environment that we're in right now. So copyright law and publishing norms represent what is trying to bring order to this situation. And since we're still in the throes of the Wild West of AI training, the chaos of that is pirated content. So, and as authors, you're the hero trying to navigate both areas. But you can do this. You can find it. You have support. You have your publishers. You have groups to help you navigate down both paths. So let's close the loop here. So I opened at the start that the most important step you can take right now is simple. Register your copyright. It's one of the best ways to protect yourself and give you some legal standing if your book is misused. And just remember, keep in mind, AI isn't going away. I use it. I know many of the authors that I work with, ghostwriters, editors, they all use it, but within the bounds of what's going to provide the greatest value to the author and to the audience and the readers. But as this case shows, the law is starting to catch up. And so that means you're able to protect your work and hopefully benefit from the rights of what's respected. And hopefully it helps to protect your rights and keep providing a way for you to get further compensated as an author. And as the conversation continues, next week we'll be diving into more about AI and how you can actually be using it with your book editing. I'll be sharing some stories of how I've used it with my upcoming book and what this could possibly mean for you as what this could mean for you as you continue down your author journey. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a review if you have not. It helps us to stay relevant, keep up with the search terms, but also with the end in mind to find those who need and could benefit the most from what we're providing through this podcast. So until next time, keep writing, keep publishing, and keep building your publishing path to success.